Welcome to our BCA 0 out of 100 video magazine, where we will better explain the NYX Surfaces products and especially our auction through nice interviews. Today we're discussing imports from Denmark, and I've invited my EU expert, Bavaria management expert Norbert Göttler. For the rest of the questions, let's go in and have a chat about it. Welcome to our BCA 0 to 100 video magazine, where we'll be explaining services, products, and our activities in a nice interview format in the future, answering a few questions along the way. And today we're starting with the topic of imports, importing from a special country, from BCA Denmark. So I invited an expert for that, Norbert. Norbert, maybe you could say a few words about me. I believe that no buyer can really get around dealing with you or your team when purchasing at BCA. A few words about you. What do you do at BCA? How are you involved with our buyers?
Thank you, Philip. Thanks for the invitation. I'm Norbert Göttler. I hold the position of buyer manager. This means I'm responsible for managing buyers at BCA for the last 11 years. And that's real. Every buyer eventually has contact with my team, must have contact with my team, but we actively reach out to buyers and therefore we support them very closely. And that's exactly where the import issue comes in that we are discussing today, a crucial task for us.
Great. You've also noticed in conversations with some buyers that there's still a bit of uncertainty, especially when buying in Denmark. Denmark is presently an extremely popular auction destination among all our clients and buyers. Why is Denmark so attractive for our BTA buyers? What kind of goods and vehicles are there especially?
We have a very interesting mix of products. So all brands, all models that are typical at BCA, but with the advantage, the great advantage, that it's very young stock. Under 3 years old and less than 50,000 kilometers driven, it is an exceptionally popular portfolio we are presenting, and it's particularly appealing for our German buyers. We clearly have the German premium brands too. Of course, we're talking Mercedes, Audi, BMW. However, we consistently have French automotive manufacturers very well represented in more than sufficient quantities at the Danish auctions as well. We reliably offer approximately 1,500 vehicles consistently every single week.
That's quite a large amount.
That's quite a significant arrangement we have from the Danes, and naturally we are diligently safeguarding everything in Germany.
Great, that sounds good. I quickly checked the auction myself, and there are very young vehicles included. I think some of it was under 10 kilometers, which really amazed me. Even if I'm new at BCA, or let's say I've been involved with BCA for quite some time, I'm a buyer and have yet to make any purchases in Denmark or other countries before. How do I buy there? Can I just normally purchase through bca.com Germany? Do I need access? What are my requirements to buy in another BCA country?
Becoming a member of BCA is straightforward. Just set up your account on the homepage and make sure to activate it so you can access all the features and benefits available. That's business to business, which means you also have to prove that you're in the automotive trade. And then the realization process becomes straightforward and simple. However, a crucial prerequisite to actually be activated for the benefit of 10 BCA countries is having an under-tax ID. You need to possess it, but it's actually quite common when you're already engaged in international business. The VAT identification is a standard requirement, and we also make sure to request that. And then it is essentially released digitally for all the countries involved. And that's essentially the unique aspect, the value-added tax requirement.
So it's unlocked for all countries directly, not just specifically for Denmark or Sweden, but you can have access directly in all BPA countries. Exactly.
There is a one-time activation for all countries. That's the role we assign. And then you can search specifically for the VAT in whichever country you desire, or as you're accustomed to, through vehicle selection if you choose to enable all countries in the search options. Then vehicles will be shown to him in all countries. Yet you can be specific if you say, I want a particular brand.
Okay, great. And once I have obtained this number, I can either give you a call, reach out to our customer service, or easily contact the hotline, right? Just let me know. I'd like to make international buys, and then you'll be directly enabled.
Perfect. We offer various communication options available, and there's a hotline. I find it always charming in the chat. It happens relatively quickly, and you usually get a call back. We also establish direct connections with us. If there's any international interest, my team will always be actively involved. We're happy to call you, just let us know and we'll promptly call back, ensuring all is prepared.
That already sounds very simple. Where do the vehicles in Denmark come from? What's the difference compared to the German goods? Are there any equipment differences, or are these ex-lease vehicles, bank vehicles? Can you roughly classify that?
Certainly, because of the age structure, there is a significant number of bank vehicles, leasing vehicles, fleet vehicles, and company cars included in this. And that's truly the main focus here. That's why the age structure tends to be different. And that's really where the vehicles originate from. Moreover, a current important focus is that the Canadian countries, including not just Denmark, but also Sweden, boast very high levels of equipment. Since the vehicles, similar to those of German customers, private customers, are very well maintained and treated with care, we naturally want to have a corresponding level of equipment. The product fits the German market well.
Great, interesting. I'll just pretend I'm a buyer now. Dutch auction. What type of auction formats should I expect there? I'm familiar with the X-Bit format from Germany, where I can easily participate in online bidding, as well as the live bid format. What's it like in Denmark? Is it the same sort of process and auction, or do I need to adjust in some way, or is it?
Yes, the formats are indeed quite similar. The X-Bit format remains exactly the same. It is completely digital. Always has the advantage, the X-Bit can naturally switch languages. It's in German, so you get all the information in German.
Nice.
And of course, we also have a live bid, which is more comparable to a live online auction. That means these are the auctioneers you picture on the podium as they are being filmed. In the vehicle, they don't drive through like physically, but it's digital. Keep in mind, the language that will be used here is English.
Ah, yeah, okay. All right. Any additional hints that might come with the vehicle, or drawing attention to them again if necessary? They'll be noted again in English in the live part. Precisely, one simply needs to be able to speak, listen to, and fully understand English.
Indeed, and that's somewhat of an adjustment because even today in the auction business, the spoken word holds significant importance. When the auctioneer corrects the vehicle description, having noticed something, it definitely counts. So you really need to be confident in English. Ah, okay. Otherwise, I'd recommend the X-Bit. It's easier.
That's a very good point. Suppose I didn't listen properly or have more questions about Danish auctions. How do I communicate with Denmark if I have bought a car there or have questions about a vehicle beforehand? Whatever? Our German team speaks. Can I address a Danish team there? And is the chat in English or perhaps also in Danish?
Yes, both of those. We are, of course, always very close to the customer and we assist them, whether it's concerning Danish auctions or when it's about French or Spanish auctions. The rep from my team is always the primary point of contact. Quite limited regarding that. We also, of course, have friendly colleagues in Denmark who likewise have colleagues that speak German. You're welcome to call there, and when you speak in German, the German-speaking colleague will handle everything smoothly. In Denmark, you don't need to speak at all. English is enough, but welcome to speaking in Germany.
Great, it actually sounds almost similar to our BTA Germany auction. Basically just that you have different goods and the communication here and there is in English, right? Certainly. Another main topic likely quite relevant to our buyers. Transport. How does the transport system work? Is it fast or slow?
We have a huge advantage in Denmark. We have automated transportation. That means as soon as the vehicle is fully paid for, the transport process gets immediately and automatically triggered. So we really save time there. Plus, you don't have to concern yourself with anything. It's fully automated, and what we definitely have as a result is speed. On the main routes, I have to picture it from Denmark going down, and Hamburg is of course always just as normal as usual. Then the route continues along towards Düsseldorf and in the direction of Stuttgart. You can reasonably estimate up to 5 days for that trip.
There are vehicles parked in the yard.
But we've also gained experience in Austria. You have to go through the entire Federal Republic. We can also deliver there within a time frame of 7 days. Denmark is particularly fast in delivery, mainly because we predominantly operate with our own fleet in that region. That means we have a truck city, and that's where it's the fastest.
Yes, 1 week, I think that's quite manageable. That's pretty fast, right?
Yes, we're quick, and we also have a transport calculator on the homepage. Enter the prices. That's how we always score points with our buyers, because it's also still affordable.
Also cheap and fast. What could be better? Now, suppose I have my own transport fleet. Can I pick up the vehicles myself? No, that's automatic transportation, and it's also mandatory, isn't it? Exactly, and also the transport prices accordingly. What I would be interested in regarding the Danish auctions. Are there different fees compared to Germany, to the German fees?
Yes, that's correct. We have a buyer's fee of 3.15% that we apply. The minimum fee charged is 300 euros. If the vehicle price is lower than that threshold, and there's an export fee, the usual is 125 euros.
Ah, yes, exactly. Okay, great. So they are added. Another method is similar. In East Germany, we also have the corresponding percentage regulation and the minimum amount. Great, that's good. Invoicing is done through Germany, through Denmark. With whom? Who will I be in touch with?
The invoice has been issued from Denmark and it is in euros.
From Denmark in euro, good. So no currency conversion logically. What I've gathered is that many customers, especially with the very, very young vehicles, are also interested in purchasing a package. Is it possible, or do I absolutely have to participate in an auction?
So, we are an auction house and we place a strong emphasis on auctions, hence bulk buying is not an option. We do not offer that service, however, it's worth mentioning that in Europe we typically have our Euro shop available. This is essentially a marketplace with fixed prices. Additionally, many vehicles originating from Denmark are also offered for purchase in the Euro shop. For systems, you have to imagine we run iterations in the auction. If unsold, the car proceeds to the Euro shop where you have the chance to buy it at a set price. So I don't have to list it in an auction format, I can buy directly, buy 5 pieces and you have a nice package.
Precisely, it essentially functions like an online store, doesn't it? I am able to make purchases there at any time, day or night, provided that the vehicle remains available for sale. Whoever arrives there first will likely get it first for purchase. So I am not restricted by any auction times or other similar things.
Exactly. It's a European standard. Ensure the countries are level where I have a vehicle. Exactly.
So are there also vehicles from other countries included? Exactly. Can I sort by Denmark? Yes, very good. Also quite interesting. There's quite a sum that adds up when I buy a few vehicles. What are the options for vehicle financing?
Certainly, we have the available option to provide financing for vehicles that have been purchased in Denmark specifically for German buyers through Santander. We maintain a partnership that makes this process relatively straightforward, as buyers are accustomed to working with banks. You simply need to complete an additional form for it, to participate in international business opportunities in Denmark. So, it's possible for you to reach out to you.
If I have any questions regarding that. General process, do I need to have a conversation with Santander? Do you communicate with Santander? How does it operate? We'd communicate that, you'd take care of it. If I were on the side of Santander, you would definitely contact me directly. Yeah, great, that sounds really good. Exactly, that was BCA Denmark, super interesting country. A significant focus on it because there are such exciting vehicles there. Are there any other countries besides BCA Denmark where one might take a look if you want to see similar vehicles as in Germany? Younger again, maybe older?
So a very exciting and continuously growing market for us is certainly Sweden. As discussed earlier, vehicles from Scandinavia are always particularly interesting for our market. Naturally, we have a considerable amount of Volvo coming from Sweden as well, so there's undoubtedly some very interesting merchandise, particularly when we take another look. I can wholeheartedly recommend our direct neighbors in the Netherlands as well. They definitely offer some really fantastic auction formats. The special feature is, they have a vehicle check, they take a test drive, and they also bring the vehicle onto the video stage. So this is truly a certified vehicle that the Netherlands are offering. I find that quite unique in Europe up to this point. Up until now, it serves as a valuable blueprint, a model that other countries will likely spend much more time on. As a result, we offer high vehicle quality, newer goods. And the goods come with a German document, German vehicles. They are in WC when they are brought across the border. That's why the export fee is actually higher. That's 430 euros, okay?
But the registration certificate is included. Perfect. I don't have to take care of it myself or get anything else. While we're on the topic of vehicle descriptions, appraisals, etc., what does it look like at BCA Denmark and also BCA Sweden?
Yes, so we have very good vehicle descriptions and there are appraisals included. With leasing companies, it's common with returns and they're available accordingly, of course. And because of this, you can confidently rely on both the quality of the vehicles and the detailed description we provide in our listings. If any issues arise, as we've seen on occasion before, our team is always ready and prepared to provide full support.
Yeah, great, super. I think Denmark even has a technical check or something like that, yeah?
Also a technical check that isn't as unavoidable as in the Netherlands, but is still examined accordingly.
Great, but since the vehicles are usually relatively new, there isn't usually much to worry about. Mostly criticize if I have seen it correctly so far in auctions.
Exactly, the vehicle quality is good, and also, especially at that age, there can't be much wrong with it. That's the advantage.
Great, so you can actually buy more in Denmark or even Sweden without much concern. In Sweden, there's also the currency conversion. You've got the Swedish krona there. But Denmark is in essence pretty much the same as Germany, correct. We have somewhat newer goods, and then there's the export fee, which naturally also applies. But otherwise, of course, I don't have to get used to anything drastically, right?
Yes, it's important to take into consideration that the documents will only be dispatched after the export confirmation has been received back. A standard process also involves the CMR, which is the document I must send back after the vehicle reaches its delivery point in Denmark. After completing this step, the document can then finally be dispatched. It's the legally required export confirmation.
Okay, great. That's really interesting. Do you have more experiences from your buyers? Are there any specific questions where buyers have voiced some concerns, perhaps with WCAD in Denmark or maybe somewhere else? Any insights or observations while you are out on the road?
So, we already hear from buyers, especially when we touch on the subject of import, that some have issues. It's in part because re-importation just hasn't really been very popular among the German end consumers historically. It was always like, I want a German car, it has to be made in Germany, has to be in Germany. And that was, in a certain sense, it really is indeed a good car. However, that is now changing. So we can already observe that Europe is collectively coming together more closely as a united whole. Furthermore, we can alleviate the buyer's hesitation and concerns by simply offering detailed examples of the kind of quality they will receive. How simple it is to get assistance in Germany. How straightforward it is to register the vehicle with us. And then also the conviction for the end customer, right? How easy it is when you show the product.
Yes, absolutely. We even had it here at the live auction one last time. We had vehicles from Denmark with us. The quality was truly outstanding, and they were sold out remarkably quickly as well. They were extremely popular. I don't think there's really anything to object to against Danish vehicles. And vehicles are not only produced in Germany, but nowadays all over the world, just with different equipment for various markets, of course. But it is very good in Denmark, Nordic countries. Yes. Norbert, thank you very much for answering my questions. I think it's nice to hear and see it in words and pictures rather than just reading it on our homepage, especially for our buyers out there. Thank you very much. If any of you out there have questions regarding imports or other topics that may interest you, please feel free to reach out to Norbert's incredibly helpful team at any time. The Bayern management to our hotline. Or if we should cover topics in the video again, feel free to have another personal info review. Feel free to contact us at 0auf100@bca.com. We'll show the address here again, somewhere. Certainly, Norbert, thanks again. Next time, perhaps with some new guests and diverse topics.
Really pleased you did. Thank you very much.
Me too, totally. And then we'll see each other next time. See you soon.